Yo, it's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's video is going to go over the NFL top 10 comp picks from the past 10 NFL drafts. NFL.com put out their list. I want to put out mine, a little bit different from what they put out, and also a 2020 full list of comp picks, so you kind of know where your team stands. If you're obviously a Northwest sports fanatic or a football fanatic like myself or Michael Pierpont, who's in the building right now, you probably already know how many picks your team is getting. You probably have read a couple articles already, but I wanted to kind of go over with the fans, just to kind of see, where you guys are feeling. If you got too many, too little, if these players could be an impact draft pick. And I'm going to go over my list of the top 10, and you might be surprised on some of the picks that you can actually get and what they'll equate to for your franchise moving forward. You can actually get some pretty big names that can impact your franchise moving forward, as you saw with the thumbnail, with Dak Prescott, obviously, on the thumbnail for our video. And like Pierpont said, you can get a certain amount of picks. It's great for trade bait. You never know where you could use that extra pick. But more importantly, not necessarily even trade bait, picking a player at this position. Some of these picks are going to be third round, fourth round, and that means if you have a third rounder, that might have been a second round caliber talent that dropped based off an injury, or maybe a third rounder that slides to the fourth, and these can be impact guys. There's guys like Alvin Kamara, AK-41, right? The alien that got drafted a little late. There's a lot of guys that get drafted late, Dak Prescott, that you just never know that might impact your franchise a little bit more than you maybe initially thought. Young Nola is in the building as well. So I'll wait for maybe just a few more people to hop in the room, but I'll just start the list, and then I'll go over my top 10. So let's go over just the quick list, just to kind of give you guys a little breakdown so you guys know. So the Patriots lead the teams with 4 comp picks. What's new? Isaac Sadillo in the building. What it do? Young Noah says, what wide receiver you think we getting? Man, you can pretty much have your choice. It might be Jefferson from LSU. There's going to be a lot of different pieces that'll be available. You may want to try to trade up, maybe 5 or 10 spots to get a better piece, but that will be up to the Saints organization unless they're looking for maybe a quarterback of the future in that late first round pick, if they think someone is still there or available that's going to be able to suit them for Drew Brees as backup in the future. Nathan Dotson says, Sup O'Rizzle in the building. Laviska Shenault, that would be a great one. He's going to be probably in the late first round, early second round. Jefferson from LSU will be sitting around that range, but if they want to go up about 5 or 10 spots, there's going to be a little bit more talent that's going to be sitting there. So you'll just have to kind of wait and see. So with under 7 weeks until the 2020 NFL Draft, 15 NFL teams were awarded comp picks today. The NFL announced that 32 comp picks were awarded to those 15 clubs. New England Patriots led all teams with 4 picks. What's new? 2 in the third round, number 98 and 100. New England will have 14 total picks in the 2020 draft. Whether that's fair or not, we'll be able to see what Belichick can do with those picks. The Broncos, Texans, Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Seahawks each boast 3 comp picks. Houston earned the first comp pick of the 2020 draft, number 97. So let's just go over the list so you guys can kind of get an idea if you've already seen it already. So the Texans have the first comp pick, round 3. Now, when you get a round 3 comp pick, this can really turn into a nice player, a possible superstar or star or Pro Bowl talent. So number 97, the Texans. Number 98, the Patriots. 99, the Giants, and these are all in the third round. 100, Patriots, so the New England gets 2 of the top 4 right out the gates. I'm not sure if that's fair, 98 and 100. Seahawks at 101, Steelers 102, Eagles at 103, Rams at 104, Vikings 105, and Ravens at 106, all third rounders. Zachary Adams in the building. So as we go into the fourth round, Byron Jones going. That's a good question. He's probably not going to be able to stay on the Cowboys. We're going to see where his talents are needed. Like I said, he didn't really have as good of a year as the year before, but we will see what they get. Round 4, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 139. Bears at 140 in the fourth round. Dolphins at 141, Redskins, Marcus's team at 142, Ravens at 143, Seahawks at 144, and then back-to-back for the Eagles at 145 and 146. So I already know at 103, 145, and 146, a third rounder and two fourth rounders. I know the Eagles are looking at either trade bait there or they'll be able to get someone to be able to fit the bill. Round 5, you got the Broncos and the Cowboys at 178 and 179. Round 6, Patriots, Seahawks at 212, 213, and 214 in the 6th round. And then round 7, just to clean it up, 247 is the Giants, Texans at 248, 249 is the Vikings, Texans at 250. At round 7, Dolphins at 251, Broncos 252, Vikings 253, Broncos 254, and last but not least, the Giants at 255. Let's see here. What did he say? He says, what do you think about Chris Jones? You think he'll get traded? They absolutely should hang on to Chris Jones. If you look at the impact of who? Chris Jones. Who? Chris Jones. They need to hang on to a superstar player like that. Those guys don't, come out of trees just anywhere. You just can't find those type of players. Yeah, they ended up getting a Frank Clark, but if it was me personally, between Chris Jones or Frank Clark or anyone really on that line, Chris Jones by far is the best player on that defense besides a few other guys that you ended up getting, Frank Clark, Honey Badger, and a few others that are on that list. But I really like Chris Jones's impact, what he's able to do. So I hope that he stays with the Chiefs. That's going to be someone that you're going to want long term, and that's big facts. So as far as the top 10, I can kind of go over mine. The NFL, .com did their top 10, and I want to go over my top 10, which is going to be a little bit different. And there was a lot of other guys. I shifted some of the guys around, based off the impact. But to give you guys kind of an idea of the top 10 comp picks in the last 10 years, who they can pan out to be, where you can actually get someone that can make a difference for your franchise trying to make that playoff push or go to the Super Bowl. But before I get into that, we got the NFL top 10 comp picks from the past 10 NFL drafts, a 2020 full list of comp picks with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy either on here or through patreon.com/NWSF. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, like I got on here, make sure you look every link below every video on our YouTube page. So let's get into this list, and I'll go over it again. The top 10 comp picks in the last 10 years from me, your boy Ryan, and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Number 10, I'm going to go with a guy that is well known. He's starting to get a little bit older, starting to kind of fall off the wagon. But when they did get him, right, in 2010, based off the value and what he brought to the organization, was pretty nice. We're going to go Kurt Coleman, round 7, pick 244 in 2010. So if you really think about it, it's not like Kurt Coleman was a second rounder, a third rounder, or fourth rounder. So as of late, the skills have kind of faded, but when he was in his prime, he gave you really good value in round 7, because most guys in round 7 don't make an NFL team. They don't really make a name for themselves, and most of y'all know who Kurt Coleman is, so you got to be able to put his name in the bag. And it's important because with guys like him, Eagles, obviously that's where he started off. Vikings, Chiefs, Panthers, Saints, Bills. I mean, he's gone around. He's had a roller coaster of a career, but I really like what he brought to the table with all those teams that he was on. Corvette Trell, $5 donation. Thank you so much in the building. Appreciate you. Love you. And hopefully we'll get a few more of these donations before the show is up. Number 9, I'm going to go for another 7th round pick, a person that ended up winning a Super Bowl. Not only that, Super Bowl MVP honors. I'm going to go linebacker Malcolm Smith. Seahawks, Raiders, Niners, Jags, Cowboys. A good chunk of his career, obviously, that he's known for is going to be with the Seahawks. And then his career started to kind of go a little downwards. But you got to look, he was a round 7 pick, 242, a comp pick. So you got to think, to be able to get Super Bowl MVP honors for a guy that was a 7th rounder is unheard of. You never hear of stories like that. So based off the value in 2011 with the Seahawks, without him, who would have known really what would have happened in that Super Bowl? So I really like that pick. Number 9, Malcolm Smith in round 7, pick 242 in 2011. So now as we go from number 10 and number 9, let's go to number 8. Number 8 is a player that I think that has a lot of potential. Franchise tag is definitely going to be coming out very shortly for this player. and it's someone that can make an impact with their roster with Von Miller and such. We got safety Justin Simmons from the Broncos, a third-round pick 98 in 2016, and this is something that is going to be nice for that organization. You need to make sure you lock this guy up. John Elway hasn't really had the best of luck. Brock Osweiler and other quarterbacks that they've brought in, right? They haven't really got to hit that one on the head, right? It's kind of hard to follow John Elway and Peyton Manning, Trevor Siemian and such. These guys aren't as good, but this guy is nice, and I like him. At number 8, Justin Simmons, round 3, pick 98 in 2016 for the Denver Broncos. All right, and let's go to number 7. Number 7 is going to be a player that has made around his ways around the league. He was known as being one of the studs, the Green Bay Packers, right? And then now he's on the Lions. And I'm going to go number 7, round number 4, pick 132 in 2012. One of the solid pieces at D-tackle for many years, even though last year was a little bit of a down year than what we're used to coming out of him. I'm talking about Mike Daniels at number 7. So as you can see some of these names, these are guys that can actually make an impact on your roster when you bring them in. Kurt Coleman, round 7. Malcolm Smith, round 7. Justin Simmons, round 3. He's just budding into his career, so we haven't even seen the best of Justin Simmons, a safety for Denver, just yet. Mike Daniels on the back end of his career, but when they got him with Green Bay early on in round 4 in 2012, pick 132, a nice value pick, a guy that clogged up the middle, that made a lot of plays for the Green Bay Packers, and Mr. Discount Double Check himself, Aaron Rodgers. Number 6, we're going to stay in Green Bay for a guy that I feel is one of the most underrated linebackers, possibly in the last 5 to 10 years. A guy that always makes all the plays. He doesn't really get a lot of credit. A round 4, pick 131, one pick before Mike Daniels. Who am I talking about? Blake Martinez. You can't tell me you wouldn't want to have a Blake Martinez on your team. 2016, round 4, pick 131. He goes sideline to sideline. He's not the biggest name, but when you look in the tally sheet with the tackles, he's normally first or second on Green Bay, game in and game out. I like the value that they got with him in 2016. Round 4, pick 131. Number 6 on my list, Blake Martinez. And then these top 5 players really shows you what you can do with these comp picks if you know how to get the right piece at the right time and then hope you got the right coaches that can coach these guys up. Number 5, one of my favorite players in the league, very underrated, running back stud from the Indianapolis Colts, round 4 in 2017, pick 143, Marlon Mack. So obviously they need someone better than Marlon Mack moving forward, but for the time being, he's going to be the guy that's going to get a good chunk of those carries. I like Marlon Mack. I like the value that he brings, and it shows you can get a starting running back, Marlon Mack, round 4, pick 143, with that. Number 4, another running back that took over for Le'Veon Bell, right? A round 3 pick. So this is a little higher. This is the highest comp pick that you can get in round 3. It goes from 3 to 7. But this guy put a lot of value. Obviously had an illness coming out of college, but we knew what he could bring for the Pittsburgh Steelers when he came out in 2017. Round 3, pick 105, James the Terminator Conner. So not bad. You can get some good value with these picks, especially if you know where to get the guys rounds 3 through 5, especially. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers, one of their most valuable players on their team this season. If you really look at the fullback position, you don't really see too many of those out there. I don't want to be biased, but obviously, Mike Allstott, my guy, might be arguably one of the best fullbacks of all time. He is no Mike Allstott, but he is a guy that can run block, pass block, he can catch. He obviously showed that in the Super Bowl as well when they came up just a little short. One of my favorite players in the league, Kyle Juszczyk, at number 3, round 4, pick 130 in 2013. A nice solid piece to add to the roster, especially for Kyle Shanahan. He knows how to use those type of players in the right situations to be able to get you big first downs and obviously touchdown opportunities in the red zone. Number 2, a player that you would never believe that would be a comp pick. You never would believe this number 2 spot position player at running back would be here. But it shows you can sometimes make miracles happen. Round number 5, pick 182 in 2017. Who? Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. Unbelievable player. You know him with obviously Mr. Discount Double Check himself, Aaron Rodgers. They are a tandem. You already know that they're going to be balling out of control every single year moving forward. Aaron Jones at number 2, and then number 1 just based off value and what he means for the organization that he's on. You saw it in the thumbnail. I don't necessarily think that this player is better than an Aaron Jones, even though they're a different position, but what he means to the organization. Number 1, Dak Prescott. Get your contract signed already, damn it. Round 4, pick 135 in 2016. He is the face of the franchise, not named Jerry Jones. So it shows you can still really have nice pieces in these comp picks, even a starting franchise quarterback like Dak Prescott. It's not common to get guys like this, and I'll go over the list again. Kurt Coleman at 10, Malcolm Smith at 9, Justin Simmons is safety for the Broncos at 8, Mike Daniels at 7 for the Lions, Blake Martinez at 6, Marlon Mack at 5, James the Terminator Kana at 5, James Conner at 4, Kyle Juszczyk at 3, Aaron Jones at 2, and Dak Prescott at 1. Yeah, Pierre Paul, but still, you got to think for a comp pick, Blake Martinez is not that bad. I mean, he's a pretty good player. I mean, you don't really see the Packers playing defense that much as it is anyways, but if anyone is making a play in the last couple years, if you watch Packers games like I do, you know what I mean? It's usually him. He's usually the guy on top of it, prior to the Zadarius Smith and the Preston Smith, those type of signings that they just brought over as of recently. So comp picks can really bring you new pieces. Have you heard that new Uzi? I have not, but I heard a lot of people kind of clowning on it that it was trash. It took 3 years for him to come out, with a new album, and it's not very good. So that's really what I've been hearing from most of my friends. But that's what I wanted to go about, just to go over some of those picks and go over the comp picks again, so you guys can kind of have an idea of where you're sitting. So let's see here again. So New England lost 7 comp picks, or 7 comp free agents during the 2019 offseason, including Trent Brown, Trey Flowers, and Chris Hogan, and they gained just 1, Brandon Bolden. Comp free agents are determined by a formula based off salary, playing time, and postseason honors. The formula was developed by NFL Management Council. Not every free agent lost or signed by a club is covered by the formula. No club may receive more than 4 comp picks in any one year. If a club qualifies for more than 4, after offsetting each CFA loss by each CFA gain of an equal or higher value, the 4 highest remaining selections will be awarded to the club. And again, this is going to just go over the round 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'll go over it one more time. Round 3, Houston Texans at 97, Pats at 98, Giants at 99, Pats at 100, Seahawks at 101, Steelers at 102, Eagles at 103, Rams at 104, Vikings at 105, Ravens at 106, and these are all round 3. These are like impact guys. You can get a really solid piece at round 3. I mean, like for me, I watched the NFL draft all the way through. Round 1, right? I'll watch that whole thing. Rounds 2 and 3 on the following day, and then rounds 4 through 7. I literally will go through, even the ticker is going, and it might be background noise to some people. I still will go over and evaluate and watch all the way through. Round 4, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 139, the Bears at 140 in round 4, Dolphins at 141, Redskins, Marcus's team at 142, Ravens at 143, Seahawks at 144, Eagles back-to-back at 145 and 146 in round 4. So the Eagles have 103, 145, and 146, so a third and 2 fourth rounders. We'll see if they end up trading some of those picks or end up getting someone that can make an impact with their roster. Round 5, Broncos at 178, Cowboys at 179. Round 6, the Pats at 212, the Pats at 213, Seahawks at 214, and then in round 7, the Giants at 247, Texans at 248, Vikings 249, Texans 250, Dolphins 251, Broncos 252, 253 the Vikings, Broncos again at 254, and the Giants at 255. So usually those 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounders are going to be the most valuable, but you never know, especially with Bill Belichick, a.k.a. Bill Belichick. You never know, those round 6 Pats picks at 212 and 213, they might amount into something. You never know. It's possible. But I wanted to make sure I hopped online just to kind of go over a quick live stream with y'all. Like I said, I'm going to try to do AEW Dynamite live stream tomorrow. And then as I transition to another job, so the job, obviously, I'm going to have to go into another job, the physical work, at that job. It's just, I need to find something a little bit more, into my wheelhouse. So I'm still going to be trying to stream as much as possible. And then once I get my schedule situated for the full-time job that I'm going to have, then we'll be able to kind of coordinate with Marcus and the time where we're going to be able to do some, live streams or reaction videos together. As we're getting into March Madness and obviously the NFL draft, I imagine that he'll be coming into the building sooner than later. Let's see here. You bet you can get a solid pick at round 3. AK-41, Alvin Kamara. That's damn right, Tess. You definitely can. Said, stop it, dude. How old are you, 40? You shouldn't be listening to Uzi anyway. He says, bro, I'm 18. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess it just depends if you're a fan of Uzi or not. You know what I mean? Some people love him, and they've been waiting for new music for 2-3 years. Some people don't really like the album. I guess it just depends, if you're into that. Not necessarily mumble rap, you know what I mean? Some people love it. Some people, are kind of over it. Everyone has their favorites. I haven't listened to the whole thing just yet, so I can't really judge. But just based off a lot of my friends, that have listened to it and that are pretty hardcore, into hip hop and rap, they haven't really had good reviews on it. There might be a couple tracks that are fire, but I guess it just depends if Uzi is a personal favorite of yours or not. Corvette Shrell, $5 donation for your boy. Thank you so much. Appreciate you very, very much. So NFL top 10 comp picks from the past 10 NFL drafts, a 2020 full list of the comp picks. Absolutely. Show some love. Smash that like button and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of all videos and donate to your boy. Just like Tess said, my favorite moderator on YouTube, period. Love you. Appreciate you. Says, bro, what I love, Baby Pluto and Lo Mein, but I can't stand that way. I feel you. Top 10 comp picks in the last 10 years. Again, I'll go over my list again. Number 10, Kurt Coleman, round 7, pick 244 in 2010. Number 9, Malcolm Smith, round 7, 242 in 2011. Number 8, Justin Simmons, a safety. A lot of potential for him to have a big year. Round number 3 for the Broncos, pick 98 in 2016. Mike Daniels stuffing up the middle in round 4 for the Packers and now the Lions, pick 132 in 2012. And then the top 6, Blake Martinez, round 4, pick 131 in 2016. Michael Pierpont don't like him, but I think that he is a gamer. He's a baller. He brings it to the best of his ability. He's a 4th rounder. It's not like he was a 1st or 2nd round linebacker. So you got to see what position that you got drafted. Not everyone's going to be a Luke Kuechly, right? Okay? Michael Pierpont, not everyone can be Fletcher Cox. Not everyone is going to be, that top-notch guy, that top-notch talent. Not everyone can be a Brian Dawkins like in your team, right? Not everyone can be that elite from year in and year out, all right? Number 5, Marlon Mack, round 4, pick 143. So you got me all flustered there, Michael Pierpont. 2017, Marlon Mack, round 4, pick 143. Number 4, James Atamanay-Akana, round 3, pick 105 in 2017. Kyle Juszczyk for the Niners, round 4, pick 130 in 2013, the best fullback in the game. Number 2, Aaron Jones, in round 5. Unbelievable, pick 182 in 2017. That might be the best one out of them all if it wasn't for Dak Prescott being the franchise guy, being the QB of the Dallas Cowboys, and what that position means to the Cowboys. If he's not there, what does that team look like, depending on who they bring in? But obviously, Dak Prescott, round 4, 135, 2016. So you can definitely tell in those top 5 picks that I mentioned, you can get some nice pieces. Marlon Mack, James Atamanay-Akana, Kyle Juszczyk, Aaron Jones, and Dak Prescott. So whether you love him or you hate him, Dak Prescott, you know what I mean? They need to get the deal done. He to me, like I said, I'd rather have him than Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is probably going to have a pretty big year based off this eye surgery. If he's not on the Buccaneers, he goes to a new team. If he can learn not to turn the ball over. Even though I don't think he can do it with my team, I definitely feel, moving forward, right, that if he goes to the right situation, he could turn his career around a little bit, as I'm sweating here, just like Ryan Tannehill did, and a few of these other quarterbacks could do, right, if it just comes to the right squad, the right coaching, the right veteran leadership, trying to, let him know, hey, you don't got to be Superman. You're not in Florida State anymore. You're the number 1 pick, but you haven't played like it. You know what I mean? You've been playing like you're like a 7th round pick, if that, undrafted. So many turnovers, but we'll see if they can, turn it around. Dak is seeking a 4-year deal. The boys want a longer-term contract. so we can kind of go into some of the news that's been, popping off as of late. Onside kick review proposed by the Eagles, which is interesting. So we don't really have anything set in stone just yet, but it's interesting to see what they might be able to do, moving forward, with the roster and being able to go for it, on fourth down, if you can end up getting that first down and then, keep the ball rolling instead of having to, go and punt. So I'm not sure if that's going to really work. I'm not sure if that's something that they're going to vote yes on, but you never know. NFL will consider a 4th and 15 play as an onside kick alternative. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that that's going to pass? Would you like that? As far as 4th and 15, the onside kick alternative. I mean, it could work. But I'm not sure if they're really going to do it. So teams submitted proposed rules change today, and Philly suggests an alternative, the onside kick, that would allow a trailing team to keep possession if it converts on a 4th and 15 on its own 25-yard line. I don't really mind it. I'm just not sure if you're going to get the votes, from all the teams to go about that. It's kind of like if you watch the XFL and the opening kickoff. I kind of like that format, that you have less injuries, less concussions, less CTE opportunities. But the opportunity sounds nice, but I just don't know. NFL is so stuck in their ways. I'm not sure if they're going to vote that. And then just to go over Gil Brandt, the most comp picks since 94, and the guys that really know how to use them. Ravens with 52, Cowboys 43, Patriots 43, Packers 42, Rams 37, Bengals, Eagles at 35, Steelers at 33, Seahawks at 32, Niners 31, Titans 30, Bills 28, Giants 28, Cardinals 26, Chiefs, the champs is here at 25, Vikings at 25, Broncos 24, Colts 23, Dolphins 22, Falcons, Lions, Raiders at 21, and the Chargers and the Bucks at 20. So it shows you some teams get a little bit more comp picks than others, but it all depends on what you do with those comp picks moving forward as well. So we will see. We will definitely see. Let's see if there's any other news kind of brewing out there in the NFL. Tess can let you know. She'll be able to get you guys all broken down when the draft is. She'll be able to let you know when we're going to end up having the combine. Not the combine, but for the pieces of free agency, restricted, unrestricted. Everything is going to be laid out here very shortly. And it's kind of nice. Let's take a quick look here on anything else. Eckler expects a new aura for the 2020 Chargers. So that obviously means Melvin Gordon out. Eckler is in. So it's going to be interesting to see. NFL 2K, there was some news there as well. So NFL 2K is going to be doing a non-simulation, so maybe like an NFL Blitz kind of arcade style, not as bad as NFL Blitz, but an arcade style NFL game. So that's going to be starting next year. What I really want to see, instead of NFL 2K, if you guys remember that series from 10, 15 years ago, right? I want to end up seeing NCAA college football. That's really what the fans want to see. We already got Madden, right? But we want to see college football, right? NCAA. But if it wasn't for Ed and Charles O'Bannon fucking everything up, as far as video games are concerned and the likenesses and whatnot, that's really the game that everybody wants to see. That's the one that everyone wants to play. At least I know I do. That's big facts. Marshall Yanda to retire after 13 seasons for the Ravens. Had a fantastic career. Obviously, if you look at his career based off his position, everything that he brought, absolutely a phenomenal athlete. One of the guys that I'll definitely miss watching year in and year out. Let's take a quick look here if there's anything else that I retweeted earlier today, if there's anything else. I know 3 NFL seasons, 3 Pro Bowl selections. I know they had an AK-41 Alvin Kamara 2019 highlight reel that I retweeted about 4 hours ago from the NFL, which was great. You have to kind of see his footwork and his skill set, and he even retweeted on top of the video stating, hey, I was 75% with one leg for a good chunk of the year, and that's facts. He definitely wasn't 100%, but he brought as much as he could, throughout that. Also, the Steelers and the Cowboys, 2 historic franchises, meet in the 2020 Pro Football Hall of Fame game, August 6th, which was announced today. August 6, 2020, Steelers, Cowboys. I'm excited for that. We just got to wait a few more months before we get into NFL season, but we still got the NFL draft coming up here shortly. We're about a month and a couple weeks away, so I am ready. Marshall Yanda's career resume, as I was talking about him, 13 seasons, 166 games started, 8-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time second-team All-Pro, played snaps at left guard, left tackle, right tackle, and he had 4 holding penalties in his last 94 games. Only 4. Respected, tough, physical, and definitely a first-ballot Hall of Famer. That guy needs to get in immediately. Absolutely love what he did for the Ravens, and that's big facts. Let's see what else is going on, if there's anything else. They did Devontae Adams, best route running of 2019. Ended up retweeting that. That was an awesome video to watch earlier today. NFL franchise tag is Monday, 11:59 Monday a.m. Eastern time. So legal tampering starts 1 second later on Monday. So we're going to have a lot of movement, a lot of pieces being talked about as we move forward. Obviously on Monday, we're going to see what players stay, what players go. Let's see. Browns release Christian Kirksey, linebacker. That happened earlier today. See if there's anything else that I can see. Besides the 2K, Yanda. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything really else that I've seen at that point. So appreciate you, Tess, very much. The Northwest Sports Fanatics, baby. Where will Tom Brady go? That's a great question. You know, we don't really know. I know at this point, you know, to me, it kind of feels like he'll more than likely go back to New England. But if Bill Belichick wants to prove something that he can do it without him, right? And then if Tom Brady wants to prove that he can do it without him, I mean, Pats right now are number 1 on him returning based off like Vegas odds. Titans 2, probably Raiders 3. And then probably Chargers 4. But I can't really see him going to the Raiders or Chargers just because you're going to be in the same division with Patrick Mahomes. Is that really where you want to go? You know, you're probably going to want to go somewhere where you have, you know, more pieces surrounding you. So for me, I mean, the Titans make sense. I don't know if obviously the Vikings aren't on his radar and they don't got the money since they poured it in for Kirk Cousins, right? But going, you know, to the Vikings with a well-rounded roster, you know, he could do some damage there. The Niners, I know obviously with Jimmy G, you know, having that trade happen, if that was going to happen, I doubt that would happen, but you never know. It's the NFL. But we don't know. Well, the thing is Belichick and Brady haven't really got along in a while. I mean, based off articles and, you know, certain things that players have said. I mean, Belichick doesn't really give anyone special treatment, and that's why they've been on that top-end tier of winning so many championships. But the owner, right, Kraft, he loves Tom Brady. It's just the disconnect between Belichick and Brady. And at this point, you know, is it about respect? Is it about money? You know, is it about, you know, can they just overlook their differences? Because there's a little bit of both of them, I feel, that want to prove to the other, hey, I can win it without you, depending on the situation. But in all honesty, you know, their best chance of being able to win is together. Well, Josh McDaniels is still there. He's not a head coach at any spot just yet. So you end up having your OC that can, you know, put in the work and put in the plays. But on top of that, the O-line needs to be restructured. They need to have more weapons. They need to find out a replacement for Gronk, whether that be Randy Moss's son from LSU or someone else. You know, they definitely need Austin Hooper. They need someone else at tight end that can be an impact. And then the defense needs to keep building as well, because obviously, as we saw with the Chiefs and the Ravens, they're kind of the teams of the future. And we don't really know what the Steelers are going to bring and a few other teams that had down years last year in the AFC, including the Chargers, depending on who they get at quarterback, what they might be able to do. So we're going to have to kind of wait and see. Let's see here. The Bucs do need to get a running back. You know, I'll take old boy from Wisconsin, and then I'll take Trevor Lawrence next year, but I don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, the organization doesn't really know how to pick players. It's almost it's just kind of one of those things that I wish I could get excited like most of y'all, you know, year in and year out. I really wish I could, you know what I mean? But it just every year I don't have any expectations for the Bucs. I'm a fan of the NFL in general. I love the NFL. I love college football. I love AEW. I'm not as big of a fan of WWE right now except NXT. I don't really like the NBA that much. I would rather watch MLB personally. as we're going into, Cactus League and, obviously, transitioning into the regular season starting. But, I mean, it just depends on, I think for me with Jordan and Kobe, rest in peace, after they left the game, it hasn't really been the same. It's kind of boring to me, to be honest. The NFL and college football is leaps and bounds better than the NBA. College basketball is kind of boring to me besides March Madness. And then obviously AEW Dynamite and AEW the brand is much better than WWE besides NXT or NXT TakeOver pay-per-views, unless you're going to go for your big ones like WrestleMania. But as I look at the WrestleMania card, it looks horrible. This might be the worst card for WrestleMania that I've ever seen. And they're really, really reaching right now, thinking they know what the fans want. And what's happening is they're losing the fans like me. You want to cater to little kids? Or do you want to cater to someone that buys the toys, buys the rings, goes to the events, buys the belts, has been watching since 1985? You're losing your hardcore fans with the shitty writing and the shitty, obviously, directive, that you're, putting on, which, with Stephanie and Vince. I mean, they pretty much have that, angle where we're rich. We're going to do whatever we want. We don't care what the fans want. But if you look at the card for WrestleMania, I mean, I still might order it and do a live stream just because it is WrestleMania. But I haven't really been this down or this like non-excited for WrestleMania ever. This might be the first time where I'm like, the card does not look good to me at all. I'm more excited to watch NXT or AEW Dynamite on a week-to-week basis, and that's big facts. Free agency dates, legal tampering period, Monday, March 16th, Wednesday, March 18th, start of the 2020 NFL free agency, Wednesday, March 18th. Appreciate you, Tess, very much. Apparently, Antonio Brown has a song. He's got a couple of them, and they're not good. We need to get him back in the league. It's just sad to be able to see someone that was one of the best in the league, number one wide receiver for years and years and years, besides can't guard Michael Thomas, the best wide receiver in the fucking game now, and DeAndre Hopkins. And Antonio Brown was already in that mix with Julio Jones year in and year out, but now we don't even know if he'll ever be back. And I hope he is. I mean, he's got some issues, ego, money, wrong people in his ear, but you can't deny the talent that Antonio Brown has. And I guess every year that goes past that he's not in the league, it's going to be kind of like a Colin Kaepernick situation. Will anyone ever give him a shot? But, I mean, for a guy that was a number one wide receiver for about 3, 4, 5 years in a row, I can't see all the teams, Xing him out like they did with Kaepernick and saying, no, we don't want him. I know there's going to be some headaches there, but I think someone is going to come calling at some point after all this legal shit, gets done. I would at least think so. Because Belichick thinks he's the reason for all the Pats wins, Brady thinks he is. The owner, Kraft, is in love with Brady and chooses Brady over the coach wants to do, and that's facts. And it's a little bit of both. Belichick is a defensive guy. If you ended up watching, 30 for 30 and saw the Belichick story, being under Bill Parcells, being underneath, calling the defense, for that Giants championship run, in that 86 to 90 era, when they had Lawrence Taylor. I mean, you don't really understand what Bill Belichick is about unless you watch that series and understand Bill Belichick's history. I mean, there's a lot more that goes along than, the Browns head coaching thing that failed, him being able to make a name for himself with the Pats, but it's a combination of things. But obviously he brought the best into Tom Brady, but so did Josh McDaniels as well. It's not all Tom Brady. It's not all Josh McDaniels. It's not all Bill Belichick. But Bill Belichick has proven, with no Romeo Crennel, with, certain guys, Charlie Weiss, remember from Notre Dame back in the day, they had plenty of pieces at OC and DC, and they've still won titles after that. Yeah, there's been some cheating that's been going on, Spygate, Deflategate, all that, right? And there's always going to be an asterisk, but they have won a lot of football games. There's a lot of jealousy there. So we'll have to see. Jordan Howard to the Bucs. I need a running back, but I wouldn't want Jordan Howard at this point. I mean, I think there's other teams that would probably like to have him. I mean, I'd rather go for someone younger, maybe you draft one, because I need to get a franchise running back, someone brand new, and at the quarterback position as well. Would you like Tom Brady to the Bucs? I don't think he would want to come to my organization because it's just so fucked up from the top, at the GM, the ownership. The head coach, the OC, the DC with Bowles and Byron Leftwich and Arians is nice. That's the first stability I've had in quite some time. But if you get Brady, is only going to be good for a year or two, and Brady needs weapons around him. Yeah, Mike Evans, Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, right? But no running back, no offensive line whatsoever, and a questionable defense, besides a couple guys like Shaq Barrett, Devin White from LSU, Levante David, my guy. I mean, I don't think there's enough there to entice Tom Brady to come to the Bucs. I mean, if he wanted to come for like a year or two, of course I would take him over Jameis Winston, but that's not really the piece that I'm looking for a team that sucked since 2007. I haven't been to the playoffs since then, so I'm looking for like Trevor Lawrence next year. I'm looking for someone that I can really get behind, someone I can actually buy the jersey of, and build something special and have a guy around for, 10 years plus. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. Is a Trevor Lawrence. That's a best case scenario for me being a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan for next year's draft, if I can get someone like that. But I definitely need to address the running back position at some point. It just depends on who's going to be available. Chargers have a running back that's going to be available, but I'm not sure if he'd be willing to, come to my team. But, we will wait and see. Let's take a quick look here as I scroll down. Odin's Child in the building. What it do, my guy? Appreciate you. Hope everything's going good. Goat James says WrestleMania will get canceled. Well, the card looks horrible. I mean, I don't even know if I want to get into the card. Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Barf. What's that? I mean, I don't even know if I really want to. Do I really want to go into the card? David Goldstein, Eagles got our picks. How we trade a first and 2/3 for Henry Ruggs. Ruggs is going to go high. You know what I mean? He's the fastest guy in the draft. He's got that Tyreek the Freak Hill speed, and there's no other guy that has speed like that. So if Howie was smart, and that's the player that you want, you're going to have to trade up to be able to get a piece like that. But I absolutely love Ruggs and what he'd be able to do. Yeah, you got Higgins from Clemson. You got Jerry Jeudy from Alabama. You got a lot of other guys that are going to be able to make plays at the wide receiver position. It's going to be exciting to see where things go. But yeah, the card for WrestleMania, I don't even know. Should I even go over it with you? Oh man, I guess I'm gonna go over the WrestleMania card. God, it's bad. This might be like the worst card ever.
I'm not sure if the clock on the ribbon board was matching above the goal, but that's been rectified. We play on. 3-point game. Spurs can tie.
I like Dobbins. He's nice. There's quite a few. Running backs. Do you think the new CBA will eventually get hammered out, or do you think we'll have a lockout? I think it'll get hammered out, and I think with a lot of the things with the 17 games and some of the rule changes, I think a lot of them, I think a lot of the big superstars are voting no, and I think that'll influence some of the other players as well, because they're not really looking out for the players. What the deal looks like to me, it's really benefiting, the TV deals, the ownership, the owners, about the money. It's not really looking towards maybe the health and the long-term, plans to protect these players. Yeah, I like the idea of not having as many preseason games, but sometimes you need those preseason games. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of these superstars get hurt within the first month if you end up taking off 1 or 2 preseason games and and extending the season instead of 16 to 17 games. Not a lot of guys' bodies are going to be able to handle that. I mean, this isn't MLB or NBA. This is the NFL. So, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, 65% of the NFL are not paid top dollar, right? So I'm not sure where they're going to go with it. Yeah, Goldberg, that's just God. It's Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. You know what I mean? You should be more excited about that match, but the way that Brock Lesnar matches go, typically, I mean, you can kind of predict what's going to happen. It's either, Brock Lesnar is going to keep the belt, or they're going to pass the torch and let McIntyre finally have it, or it'll be at the final pay-per-view, going to back-to-back where Lesnar wins. Then the next pay-per-view, they have a rematch, and then McIntyre finally gets it, just depending on if Lesnar and what he has in his contract based off wins and losses. But usually Lesnar's matches are boring. They're short. With this matchup at WrestleMania, they'll probably make it, I would hope, at least 10 minutes or longer, but a lot of his matches are less than 10 minutes, but I would hope it would be in that 10 to 20-minute range. But a lot of the matches are not that exciting to me. Goldberg and Roman Reigns, garbage. John Cena versus The Fiend, why? Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, boring. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. I mean, that's not really that exciting to me. I mean, NXT TakeOver Portland had a better lineup than that. I know what they're trying to do. You know, Goldberg versus Roman Reigns, Spear versus Spear, Lesnar versus McIntyre. McIntyre finally getting, his chance to get the championship and be the WWE champion if they give it to him. Fiend, they burned his character in the ground and gave the belt to Goldberg. Stupid, right? And then having John Cena wrestle him. I mean, what does John Cena have left at this point? Charlotte, they didn't want to do Charlotte Becky Lynch all over again for the second, third, fourth, fifth time. So they're doing the, Ripley from NXT with Charlotte, Lynch, and Baszler. That Charlotte Ripley match might be one of the better matches out of the whole card, and that's sad. I mean, I don't know. Edge versus Randy Orton, if they go that route. Heavy Machinery versus Ziggler and Robert Roode. Daniel Bryan versus Drew Gulak. The OC versus Aleister Black and Undertaker. Braun Strowman versus Sami Zayn for the title. I mean, Andrade and Angel Garza versus Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio. I mean, I'm not really getting too excited. I mean, I'm a wrestling fan. I've been watching since '85. Nothing on that card, stands out to me where I'm like, okay, this looks awesome. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? I'm not that excited with what I'm seeing on the card. It doesn't really look that great to me. I need to see a lot more Seth Rollins. I wish the Shield was still around with Dean Ambrose. You know what I mean? AJ Styles. You know what I mean? Obviously, with the guys that they have on their roster, I mean, that's why I'd rather watch Kenny Omega rather than a lot of these other guys and the Young Bucks. So,
a new kind of investor is changing things up.
Lesnar had some of his best matches with Kurt Angle. That's big facts. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't really look like it's benefiting a lot of the players long term. Fiend versus Reigns would have been better, much better. I mean, as a wrestling fan, that would have been a more up and down, a faster match. They just fucked everything up. No one gives a shit about Goldberg. And Goldberg was saying, oh, not very many people have a problem with him having the belt. Bro, you're old as hell. You're just bringing you in for a name. Like, no one cares. It's like when they go to Saudi Arabia and they do these garbage pay-per-views just for the fans over there. I get it. You're branching out. You're WWE. But none of the matches mean anything. It's just pretty much putting on a show for all those millionaires over there to spend some money so they can sell some merch. But they don't really ever have any belt changes. Nothing really significant happens over there. I get it. They're trying to branch out. But it just seems like they're just trying too hard, and it's more about money than really trying to put out a good product. And they know AEW is kicking their ass in the ratings, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. So not about the names on the matches, it's about the matches. Come on, bro, but I've been watching since '85, Lenny D. You got to tell me, like, honestly, out of these matches, this has been... Like, you go back over all the other WrestleManias when I've seen Rock and I've seen Stone Cold, I've seen Bret Hart, I've seen Shawn Michaels, I've seen Razor Ramon, you know what I mean? I've seen Hogan. You can't tell me that this year on the card has got you that excited compared to past years. Be honest. The card doesn't look that good. You know what I mean? NXT obviously is the best show. It's better than Raw and SmackDown. The creative has been garbage for the last 3 months. It hasn't been good. Right? Ripley and Flair might be the best match out of all the matches. What does that tell you? Just saying. That might be the most entertaining match out of all of them. Not saying that the women can't do their thing. They can. And that's why I'm saying that match might be the steal of the show. Even over all the men matches. Like, facts. I mean, I don't really know what Baszler and... it's like they're pushing their certain stars, and they're not realizing that they're losing a big chunk of their fan base, in my opinion, for someone that's been watching since '85. Yeah, and they're not developing the talent the same kind of way, you know what I mean? If you're really going to put on a good show, the Undisputed Era should be on WrestleMania. I don't give a shit if they're on NXT or not, but if you want to put the best guys on there, you need to showcase your big guys. AJ Styles on there. Seth Rollins on there. Adam Cole, baby. Undisputed Era on there. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just seems to me that they don't really got it going on. They don't really know what's going on, moving forward. But that's them. That's what they're doing at the time. So, NFL Top 10 Comp Picks from the past 10 NFL drafts, a 2020 full list of the comp picks. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like Corvette did. Appreciate you very much. $5 donation. Appreciate you. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch like I got on here, link is below every video on our YouTube page. I know they did an NXT, but Viking Raiders versus AOP needs to happen. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of makes me wonder what angles that they're going to be going to, if they're going to bring, Undisputed Era up, and there's certain guys, for me, like Keith Lee, puts on a great show every match that he's in. Matt Riddle, the Broserweights. I mean, there's a lot of talent that even though they're in NXT, to me, they're better than a lot of the guys that are on SmackDown and Raw. Like, if you end up watching them, I know some of these guys are developmental, but they have their own brand now. And that's just me. I mean, a lot of these guys are putting on better quality matches week in and week out. So, agreed, right? But just based off what you see, wrestler versus wrestler, it doesn't really jump off the page like in past WrestleManias. You feel me? So I get what you're saying, but for me being a guy that's been watching a long time too, since 85, right? It doesn't have that same jumping off the page where I'm like, wow, you got to admit Raw and SmackDown have been shit lately in the last couple months. The creative, the writing has not been good. You might be a WWF guy or a WWE guy, but I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I used to love the WWF Attitude Era, Hulkamania, you know what I mean? But they've definitely gone towards a downward spiral for the last few years. I'm more of an ECW guy. I need to see quality matches. You know what I mean? I need to see inverted moves. I need to see double team moves. I need to see the crowd get into it. The crowd participation is not good, right? The writing is not good. It's not anywhere compared to AEW. I like ECW, WCW. I like to be able to see something. I feel like they just got lazy. They felt like, hey, we're the best out here. And then obviously AEW came around, and then they had to step their game up a little bit. But it's not good, bro. For someone that watched a shitload of ECW, WCW when it came out, someone that's watched a lot of the other organizations, that knows what good wrestling is, you know what I mean? It depends if you like hardcore wrestling or if you just, it just depends on what kind of fan you are of wrestling, but I don't know. It just, for me, it hasn't been the same. And then driving the Fiend's character in the ground, like, how can you really support a brand that doesn't listen to the fans? Because they don't care, you know what I mean? They don't care. I mean, look at the card, bro. They could have made a way better card for WrestleMania than the card is. Yeah, it happens. It depends on what happens in the matches, but the card is supposed to stand out where you look at the card, right, and you're like, wow. You're like, WrestleMania, I'm fucking getting that shit. I'm getting the network, or I would pay $60 for that. You can't tell me that 99% of wrestling fans that look at that card would be like, yeah, I'd pay $60 for that, even though they don't do that anymore, and it's only $9.99 for the network unless you get your trial period. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big part of it. The creativity and the writing and the mic skills, that shit is important. Wrestling is not only about the wrestling, it's about the talking, and it's about, building up the feuds, and they do a horrible job on that. Driving characters into the ground, Just saying. AEW is the best. Odin's Child knows. That is the best. And it's going to keep getting better and better, especially after WrestleMania, once they start dropping some of their talent and you bring some of the other talent around there. The fans appreciate the wrestlers. If you're just a lower mid-card guy just getting buried into oblivion, you go over to AEW, you can be a superstar. You know what I mean? Because they appreciate what you bring. The fans appreciate. Just saying. You know what I mean? It's like when you watch NFL or college football, you can see the fan base appreciates compared to some of the other sports. You know what I mean? Like for me, NBA is tired. You know what I mean? The fans aren't into it as they once were. You know what I mean? Just saying. I'm just based off the eye test on what I see. And when's the last time you really seen crowds get into it? Like really get into matches? You see it in NXT. You see it at NXT TakeOver, right? Even XFL, Odin's Child. You can see it there. The passion, the energy. If I don't see passion and energy and, that feeling from the crowd, it's not for me. You know what I mean? I need to be able to see something where you can really back a product. And when's the last time you really see a Raw crowd or a SmackDown crowd really get into it? I haven't seen it in a long, long time. But every AEW and NXT show, you see it. There's a reason why. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just me. I'm critical just because I've been watching for so long. I've seen Andre the Giant to Hulk Hogan to Ric Flair. Woo! From the Legion of Doom to the Bushwhackers, to Demolition, to Roddy Piper, to Doink the Clown, you know what I mean? To Kevin Nash, to the NWO, to, DX, Shawn Michaels, You know, I've seen it all. Road Dogg Jesse James. I mean, from thick and thin, RVD, Sabu, Mike Awesome, you know, Tajiri, all that. Lance Storm, Just Incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen it all, right? All. I mean, I put in thousands of hours of ECW from the beginning. I was one of those guys that watched ECW when it came out, like in the 90s, like back in the day. So I know, you know, wrestling from all the different federations. So the one gripe I got about WWE is that they have the same people with the same matches for months. True. Junkyard Dog, Jake the Snake, who actually appeared on AEW, which was awesome. Roddy Piper, you know what I mean? It just depends on how hardcore of a fan that you are, how far back have you watched, and you know what I mean? It's just the glory days of the WWE are gone. I just don't think that you're going to see the same type of rabid fan base that you used to have. I mean, a lot of times you just never thought you were going to get it again after you saw ECW in his prime with RVD and Sabu, seeing WCW Nitro with the NWO, you know, seeing Mankind, Dude Love, you know, Cactus Jack, Bang Bang, you know, being able to see DX, you know, WWF Attitude, Stone Cold, right? The Rock. You just never thought you were going to get that same type of feeling, you know, but then you got Randy Orton, you know, and then you ended up getting Brock Lesnar and a few of these other guys, Kurt Angle coming in, and you're like, all right, you got some talent there, but it just seems like they don't have the same type of feeling to me. Like they had a little bit of it, that feeling when the Shield was around with Roman Reigns and you know, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. I got kind of excited because I love factions. Vince doesn't like factions, and you know, I'm just losing interest, and I hate that because I'm a wrestling guy. I'm still going to watch Raw. I'm still going to watch SmackDown. I'm still going to watch NXT, but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. Like, you know, I can fast forward through a Raw on my DVR or SmackDown, and I used to never do that. I used to watch it all the way through, maybe fast forward the commercials only if I had it on my DVR, if I didn't watch it live. And now I find myself fast forwarding a lot more, you know, where I don't even really want to hear the talking in it because it's so bad. So, just saying, AEW is where it's at, though. That's what good wrestling is about.
He's a sneaker-free agent. He's available.
Are you ready? You tell me what you do. Tell me what to wear. You think you're better? Yeah. Yeah, but Vince is an idiot. You know what I'm saying? You know, they need he's like Jerry Jones. You know what I mean? David Goldstein says Cowboys are a hot mess. Damn right they are. Right? But they do have nice pieces in Michael Gallup. If they get Amari Cooper settled, get Dak in the building, they got nice pieces on defense. They'll probably draft a safety or corner. You know, they got pieces that they can go. Henderson from Florida at corner. You know, McKinney, safety from Bama. So they'll get some pieces there. But, I mean, they may be looking up at the Redskins and the Eagles in the division. I mean, they're all going to be punching each other in the mouth. You know, with the Giants being at the bottom, Redskins, Cowboys, and Eagles just, you know, beating each other up in the NFC East. I'm excited to see, you know, what happens in the draft and free agency. That's big facts. But, you know what? Vince is like old school. You know what I mean? You need to take a step back. Shane needs to take a step back. Stephanie, take a step back. The creative is horrible. The announcing is bad except for Morrow. You know what I mean? Like, really, what do they got? Maybe when Triple H and Shawn Michaels running NXT and why it's so popular, you know, they can go at Full Sail and have a better crowd than a big crowd at Raw or SmackDown. It's not necessarily about the people. It's the type of people you're bringing in and the storyline. But even the storylines, even in NXT, have kind of taken a hit because they're just too worried about competing with AEW rather than worrying about their own brand. They need to let Triple H run everything. Agreed. If they let him and Shawn Michaels run everything, I think Raw, SmackDown, NXT would have a facelift, a reboot, and that's what we need. But on the flip side, I absolutely love AEW and what they're doing with Khan, his son, you know, with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, you know, with John Moxley and Chris Jericho. It's just fun for me. That brand is something that I like and I can get behind. So they're not going anywhere. Do you think the odds are good to see Peyton Manning on Monday Night Football? There's a good chance. It definitely depends. Not necessarily on the money. It's on the chemistry he can have if it's going to be him, Al Michaels. I was hearing something on Good Morning Football that Schrager, is he in the running for one of the spots? I'm not sure if Nate Burleson was just joking or they were talking about him, but he might have one of the spots on Monday Night Football. Schrager. Right, from Good Morning Football. So, I don't know. You know, we're going to have to see. You know, but Peyton Manning, Strager could be, one of those pieces if they go that route, But Al Michaels and Peyton Manning, I do like the concept. I'm not sure if it's going to be as good as Tony Romo and, the pieces they have on CBS. But you never know. I mean, I think that Tony Romo and Peyton Manning could be very similar, predicting the things. And, Jim Nantz is great. That could be like an Al Michaels, so. Yeah, I imagine he's, at his house. He's working. I'm starting to get a new schedule, so hopefully he'll be able to be in the building at some point sooner than later. It's like once I get my full-time job situated from the new job that I get, then once I get my schedule, intact, because he gets off at 2:00. So, and if my job that I was working before, I wasn't getting off till 3, 4, 5, 6 p.m. And at that point, it's probably too late for him to come over. Unless we had a certain game going on. So it's going to be up to, him if he wants to be able to come through and do videos with me late. But more than likely it'll be on the weekends, but also he's got his girl and his kids sometimes on the weekends. So just depending on next Monday, once I get situated with my new job, then it'll see, if I end up getting off late, it might be too late for him to come over. So I don't know. We'll see. But I know for the NFL draft, he'll definitely try to make an appearance for that as we go to the NBA playoffs. He'll try to make an appearance for those. So, but in the meantime, I'm still going to be grinding. So, yeah. So we'll see if Peyton Manning will come through. But I think it would be great. Dakota in the building. How do you think the Seahawks will do with Olsen? That's interesting. I don't know. He's getting a little bit older. If his body can hold up. There's a lot of questions, to be had with these Carolina Panther players or former Carolina Panther players, going to new teams, or if Cam Newton can still do it. Obviously they needed something, better than like a Jimmy Graham type of option, which obviously he moved from there to the Packers, and we'll have to see what he can do moving forward. But a lot of these older tight ends, I'm not really sure if that's going to be a good fit. But the thing is if you end up having Russell Wilson, he can make anyone better. So, Odin's Child leaving the building. I appreciate you, man, very much. AEW Dynamite live stream tomorrow. I should be in the building. DJax, yeah, get yourself a speedster, maybe a Ruggs on the other side. Just depends on how much they're willing to trade up. Maybe some of those third rounders, fourth rounders to be able to get that compensation. Because I imagine Ruggs could go top 12 if someone really wants to reach, for just based off his speed alone, because you can't teach that speed. But realistically, from, most spots, it's like 14 to 18 is where a lot of people are thinking he'll go, with a few other wide receivers going in front of him, maybe two, or Jerry Jeudy and one other wide receiver, right? But you never know. He might end up being the first wide receiver taken just based off that speed alone if someone trades up, and that's what they want. In Ruggs, he's shown that he's got all the skills, to make it happen. Yes, I did, Nathan. It's like those little GIFs and memes about washing the hands for the coronavirus. There was a funny one that they did for the, oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody. So I've seen that one too. Djax, Ruggs, Ertz, Goddard. Yeah. Especially with Mr. Walk It To Him. That could be an amazing, powerful offense. You know what I mean? Just making sure that O-line can stay clean and maybe add some pieces to that defense as well. But they're ready for a bounce-back year, the Eagles. I definitely believe that. And they did the best they could with all the injuries that they had. And that's big facts. So, top 10 comp picks from the past 10 NFL drafts and the 2020 full list of the comp picks. I'll go over it one more time before I end the stream, unless you guys have anything else that you guys want to talk about. So the top 10 comp picks in the last 10 years, the Buccaneers will dump Winston. I agree. They don't need him. If it's between Shaq Barrett, the NFL sack leader, or him, I'm definitely taking Shaq Barrett. So the NFL.com came out with their list. I came out with mine. Number 10, Kurt Coleman, round 7. Pick 244 in 2010 in number 10. Number 9, Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl MVP, round 7, pick 242 in 2011. Number 8, safety Justin Simmons, round 3 for the Broncos, pick 98 in 2016. Look for him to have a great year. Number 7, Mike Daniels from the Packers and now the Lions, round 4, pick 132 in 2012. Number 6, Blake Martinez, round 4, pick 131 in 2016. Number 5, Marlon Mack, round 4, pick 143 in 2017. Number 4, James the Terminator Kana, round 3, pick 105 in 2017. Number 3, Kyle Juszczyk, round 4, pick 130, 2013. Aaron Jones, Aaron Jones from the Packers, round 5, pick 182 in 2017. At number 2, should be number 1 if it wasn't for this guy. Number 1, Dak Prescott, round 4, pick 135, 2016, since he is the face of the franchise, not named Jerry Jones, and what he means to their franchise, the Dallas Cowboys. And then as we go, real quickly, I'll just go over the picks one more time, just to kind of give you guys an idea. No problem. Appreciate you guys very much. Pats lead teams with 4 comp picks. As we go over the comp picks here again, you can get round 3 to round 7, and you can really get some nice pieces again. Round 3, the Texans at number 97, Patriots at 98, Giants at 99, Patriots at 100, Seahawks at 101, Steelers at 102, Eagles 103, Rams 104, Vikings 105, and Ravens at 106. All third rounders. Texans, Pats, Giants, Pats, Seahawks, Steelers, Eagles, Rams, Vikings, Ravens. And I almost guarantee at least 3 or 4 out of those third rounders are probably going to get traded, but at least 3 or 4 out of those third rounders are going to turn out to be solid NFL players, because you can get a lot of talent in this draft and next year's draft in round 3, 4, 5. I mean, we got a really, really nice class of wide receivers, linebackers, just like we do every year. But the talent at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, D-line, safety, it's incredible this season. And next season, including obviously Trevor Lawrence leading the pack, is going to be great as well. Round 4, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 139. Bears 140, Dolphins 141, Redskins, Marcus's team at 142, Ravens 143, Seahawks at 144, Eagles at 145, and Eagles at 146. So round 4, those are some options where you can trade. The Eagles got 103, 145, and 146. So a third rounder, 2 fourth rounders. You definitely can get some good compensation, maybe to trade up for Ruggs, and that is big facts. Round 5, the Broncos at 178, the Cowboys at 179 in round 5, which you can still get some good quality pieces. Seahawks will definitely be going more than likely for a secondary piece, maybe a D-end as well. Obviously, we don't really know if your boy is staying, right? More than likely he's leaving, Jadeveon Clowney. And then round 6, Patriots at 212, Patriots at 213, Seahawks at 214 in round 6. Right? And then round 7, the Giants, Texans, Vikings, Texans, Dolphins, Broncos, Vikings, Broncos, and Giants going from 247 to pick 255 in the 7th round. So there's going to be a lot of pieces there. Packer Highlight says, hey, go to my channel, check out my Packer highlights. You can do that. And also, he said, get a wide receiver. They might even trade for Odell Beckham Jr. I know a lot of people think that's just rumors and that's talk, but Odell would be a nice fit there. It just depends on his discipline. Does he have the discipline, right, to be able to play every single down and to be able to make the most of his skill set? Because it just seems like, obviously, with the Browns, when things weren't going his way, a little bit of pouting, and just not being happy that he's not getting the ball instead of worrying about the team winning. And that's the only thing I worry about with him going to the Packers. But, the Packers, with him or without him, can still make the playoffs very easily. But Odell would definitely bring them a brand new dynamic to have Odell on one side, Devontae Adams on the other, and that's big facts. Does anyone else have anything that they want to comment on? NFL, college football, XFL, AEW, WWE, WrestleMania, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite. Does anyone else have anything else that they want to comment on? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like Corvette did, either on here or through patreon.com/NWSF. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, like the hoodie I got on today, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So I feel that I didn't want this stream to be too long. I just wanted to be able to hop on for about an hour, hour and a half, just to kind of go over the picks, my top 10, the full list to kind of give you guys an update. And then I'll be doing more and more NFL streams, NBA, wrestling. I'll be doing an AEW Dynamite live stream watch party tomorrow. So I hope everyone is having a good day. Hope everyone obviously is having a great week. It's Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. NFL top 10 comp picks from the past 10 NFL drafts and the 2020 full list comp picks. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and I got one question for you. Well, you know, talk sports like us, your boy Ryan, the Northwest Sports Fanatics, Tess, the best moderator on YouTube for the Northwest Sports Fanatics. I appreciate you, love you. With all the help that you give me every single stream that I do. Appreciate you very, very much. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday night. And I should be back tomorrow to do AEW Dynamite live stream. And then once I get my schedule worked out next Monday, then hopefully we'll start seeing Marcus come in the building once I know my own schedule moving forward. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their night, a great rest of their week. Keep your heads up. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Peace.